And we had this MC, Jeb Stewart. He looked like Jackie Wilson, had the pompadour, with the hair greased back, matching Romeo shirt. Remember those shirts that had like the big collar and lace?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, polyester matching pants, usually either orange or light blue, baby blue, with shoes that every night he would take paint and spray paint the shoes to match the color of his outfit. And he had like a big cardboard sign behind the drummer with like records, 45 spray painted in gold, and his name in sequins, glitter, Jeb Stewart, and then he has some slogan, like the King of Soul or whatever, and little musical notes and stuff like that. And we just play R&B all night long with this guy, and he must have been a great singer at one time, but I never got to hear that because he had a perpetual cold. It was always like this, raspy, right? So he would only hit one note, like, I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour, when he never would sing a melody. It was always like this raspy one note singing. And he had the dance moves in between, and he was smooth, man. Slick, smooth. He would introduce the girls because, he would introduce a girl, and then she would dance right in front of us in our little stage, and then she would move on to a cubicle in this horseshoe-shaped bar with old men sitting around, and they had knockers. So instead of clapping, this is what you heard. 50 guys going like this, in between girls, instead of clapping, for the girls dancing. And then girls will move around, and by the end of the set, you have like 8 girls dancing, and then that was over. And then 15 minutes later, you go back on and you do another show with the same thing, Yeah, that was my first club gig.
When you were on the road with Whitesnake in 88, 87?
87 to 94, yeah.
Let's just say 88.
Yeah.
Were you ever on stage one night having a great night?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing great. And at one point, you thought to yourself, the reason this is happening is because of what I did in that strip club 20
absolutely.
years ago.
Absolutely.
Does that ever dawn on you? That fucking destroys me when I think of the exact moment where I learned how to do that. I tell Lee it happens to me a lot now when I'm on stage and I'm controlling the audience, how I'm controlling them at this point. Yes, and it's been 28 years. But this just didn't happen. That control I learned at a certain bar in 1995. And while I'm on stage about to deliver the jokes and while I'm getting my breath back, while they're laughing and they're settling, that thought had just run through my mind that the reason I'm here right now is because of that bar in 1995, that night that the guy threw a steak at me or whatever. I'm just making up scenarios here. But it's so weird how now, 28 years later, there's nights I'm on stage having a good set. After 20 years of being in it, thinking back to the night where you had that breakthrough, that you did that step, that maybe you added that bass line, that, something. With me, it's always maybe I move a certain way or I do something. I did something in New Jersey that I hadn't done in 20 years, like not a bit, but a piece from a bit that I couldn't use the bit anymore because the bit is fucking old. I don't even think I remember it. But I used a piece from a bit. When I got off that night, I go, wow, I still remember doing that bit on an improv level one night and then starting to use it. And then it was time to get rid of the bit, and I did. But that little piece of that bit still makes me laugh. And that had to be 96, 97. When I did that bit to kill time, like somebody said, how much time you got? I'm like, 18, do 30. Okay, I'll tell a story. And I told that bit. Does that ever happen to you that you're on stage and you think back to a certain night?
Absolutely. That Tomboy Club in North Miami was my first club gig. And I kept playing clubs all the way in Miami up until like I left in 75. And that was basically my cutoff point. So it was about 6-7 years, because by the time, well, actually I kept playing in clubs up in Chicago area, in the Midwest with another band. It wasn't until I got to LA and in 1978 I started playing with the Randy Rhoads version of Quiet Riot that yes, we were playing clubs, but they were showcase clubs. You were expected to play original material. So to me, there was a big difference between being in a cover band, because that's not going to get you anywhere. I mean, if you really have aspirations of becoming a professional musician, as far as a career move, yes, you might be able to make some money and take care of some bills and things like that. But if you really want to, make a move, it's like in comedy or acting, you have to do certain things. Like playing at a comedy store, it's a showcase club. It's not just a comedy gig. You're there with the best of the best. And there's going to be agents, there's going to be producers, and the suits are going to be in the audience checking out what's new, who can I get, for my next special or my next movie or whatever, discovering talent. Well, there are certain clubs in Los Angeles that at the time, that was the purpose of playing there. There was the Starwood, that Quiet Riot, we were like a house band there with Randy. Then there is the Whiskey and the Roxy and the Troubadour. And for one time, for a certain period of time, there was Bill Gazzari's place. Van Halen was like the house band and stuff like that.
Where was that?
Gazzari's is where, what is it called now? It's called something else. It's like a disco. Now it was like
in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, it's west of the Rainbow.
Oh, so it's down towards that.
Yeah, it's the next club, the next street from the Rainbow Bar and Grill. It was all one strip.
Yeah, it's like a disco.
Yeah, playing. There was a club called Filthy McNasty's, which was a cover club. Now is the Viper Room.
Really?
Yeah.
So Viper Room used to be Filthy McNasty.
Filthy
what about
McNasty.
That place on Fairfax? There's
place on Fairfax. Wait a minute.
Towards Wilshire.
Okay.
I went there a few times. Irish bar. They have like cover bands. I had a friend that was in a heavy duty band at the time.
Yeah. The strip was like basically the place. Of course, later on different clubs around the area. I think it's called the Mint. The one you're talking about, the Mint.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going in like fucking Marines. You understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.